Hey, welcome to the 800-Pound Gorilla Expert Podcast, where we interview experts at helping you grow your business or your practice. I'm your host, Carl Utter, and now today's show. All right, welcome to today's show. Today's guest is Michael Zipursky. He is the CEO of Consulting Success. He has advised organizations like Financial Times, the Dow Jones, the RBC, and he helped Panasonic launch new products into global markets. Consultants around the world in over 50 industries have added six figures using Michael's program. Michael is the author of the Amazon bestseller, The Elite Consulting Mind. Today's guest, Michael Zipursky. All right, I'm here with Michael. Michael, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How you doing, Carl?
I'm doing very well. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
Sure. So I'm with consultingsuccess.com. It's where we work with consultants from all around the world in many different industries, really helping them to grow their consulting businesses. So it's both consultants who have been in the business for several years and want to get to that next level. They want to move away from just relying on referrals in their own network to really having marketing that scales, marketing that generates qualified leads for them consistently. And then also those who are transitioning from corporate into consulting. So if they're early stage consultants, we also have a program for them. And
now, is it consulting and coaches or just consultants, or?
We work with consultants specifically. There is some crossover there, meaning that if someone's a consultant, but they're also providing business coaching or executive coaching. But all of our clients, whether they're for-profit or in non-profit kind of client organizations, small to large, they're all working with organizations. So we don't work with life coaches or spiritual healers or addiction specialists.
Yeah, I know. With my own business, I've tried to distance myself from that because a lot of what I do is consulting. A lot of it's coaching and a lot of it's training. So, take your pick, right? So you probably have already answered this, but who's your ideal client?
So yeah, we have, again, two groups that we work with. The first is those who are active, right? They've been in the consulting business for quite some time. They're doing well, but they want to get to that next level. So that might be someone who's already generating, let's just say $300,000 or $500,000 a year, but wants to get to that $1 million level or up to 2 million or so. And then the other big group is those who are just getting started. They're maybe transitioning from employee to consultant, or they've been consulting for a year or two, wanting to reach their first six figures and haven't yet figured out how to do that. And so we have a step-by-step system and plan for them to achieve that.
Nice. Now, is that just on the marketing side, or do you help them with their offering and their packaging and stuff?
Yeah. So we get the whole foundation in place. We have two programs, Momentum, which is for early stage consultants. Those are those who want to kind of reach that first 100,000. That's all about getting real clarity around who their ideal client is. Also making sure that they have the right messaging in place that will resonate and get the attention of those ideal clients. Looking at their offerings, how to package them, position them, place value on them, and then also the marketing piece. And then at the kind of the higher level for those who want more personalized coaching, we're able to dig a lot deeper into creating a much more customized plan for them. And some people in that situation already have lots of leads, but they're not sure how to maximize them or how to go from, let's say, an average of a $15,000 or $25,000 engagement up to a six-figure, or even in some cases a seven-figure consulting project and engagement. So we work with our coaching clients really to customize a plan to get them from where they are to where they want to be.
What problems do you help them solve?
Yeah, so there's different challenges that people have. A big one certainly is around generating qualified leads consistently. So we spend a lot of time with clients helping them to create that. For many people, right, they're very good. They have the skills, they have the expertise. So that's not their challenge. Their challenge is the marketing and how do they actually start to create a pipeline that is full and robust and filled with opportunities. So we'll work with them on getting that system in place. Other times when people are earlier stage, they have challenges around how do I really create messaging that truly conveys what I do in a clear, succinct way. And so we spend time really helping them to dial that messaging in so that.
So what symptoms would somebody be having? Say you're a consultant, and what would be going on in my business that would make me go, yeah, I need to reach out and book some time with Michael?
Yeah, I mean, a very common one would be people just kind of looking at their computer screen and, or their phone and wondering, well, what do I do now? Like, who do I talk to? I think a lot of people spend a great deal of time trying out new tactics, right? They're jumping on Facebook or LinkedIn or webinars or podcasts or whatever it is, but they don't actually have a system they're following that's helping them make real progress consistently. And, we always try and look at the 80-20. What are the 20% of the things that you can do that can have the greatest impact and create that 80% of the actual impact and result that you're looking for? So symptoms are that you feel like you're doing a lot of different stuff, right? You're spending a lot of time, maybe you're making even some investments into it, but you're not making tangible, you're not seeing kind of tangible progress. And you know that you should be proactive rather than reactive.
Nice. A lot of people that hang a shingle, go in business for themselves, can be hard-headed. They're, I don't mean hard-headed and hard to learn, but, they're bootstrappers, do-it-yourself type people. What mistakes do you see them make when they try to do this themselves?
Well, I think, a very common one is people are, especially consultants in the world that I'm in, tend to be perfectionists, right? We tend to overthink, to overanalyze, to want to put out the best possible product or service. And when we're trying to do that, it means that we're delaying taking action longer than we typically should. So I have a saying that I offer to many of my clients, which is imperfect action. I didn't coin that phrase, but I'm a big believer in it.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the reasons why people hold themselves back and not actually achieve their full potential or realize their potential, or it just takes too long for them to do that, is because they're spending too much time thinking and planning and studying, and all those things are important. But if you do them too much, then you're actually delaying the most important part, which is the action that leads to creating the conversation. So that's really would be my encouragement for people, is to start taking action. Of course, you need to take the right actions, but as long as you have a good plan in place, then you want to act upon it as quickly as you can. Yeah, I mean, I think this also happens today, Carl, more than ever before, just because there's more options for people available than there ever has been, right? There's more information online than there ever has been. There's more tools, there's more tactics, there's more technologies. And so people are kind of, inundated with all these different promises from people or from services that this is the next best thing for them. And that's why they're jumping around trying to find what's going to actually work. But sometimes objects and technology and fancy artwork, but if it doesn't have a solid foundation and solid ground, it's very hard to build upon it and live there for a long time.
For a consultant, Michael, what is the solid foundation in your opinion?
Yeah. So number one, it's clarity on who your ideal client really is. Number two, it's developing a message, what we call the magnetic message. So it's the message that really resonates with your ideal client. It gets their attention, gets their interest, gets them wanting to have a conversation with you. Number three, it's about having the right offerings in place. So how do you take all those years of experience and expertise and package it and position it, place value on it, and then present it to your ideal clients in a way that not only works for you and for the lifestyle that you want to have and the business model that you've selected, but also is exactly what your ideal clients want to buy, right? Sales should be something that you do with someone, not something that you do to them. And that's a big shift that needs to be had by many people. And then the fourth part of it, really, Carl, is getting that, what we call the marketing engine. So it's a system that you're able to use, even if you're spending just 1 hour a day on it, but you work it consistently, and it really starts to build up a pipeline of opportunities that serve you not only in the short term, but also in the long term.
Good. That's great. That's great. Well, you sound like you've really got your, so what's one free valuable resource you could direct people to? Maybe you have an ebook, a video course, maybe something on your website that could help people, Michael, get to know you and the work you do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's lots of stuff we have on YouTube or our own podcasts or otherwise, but we do have a 47-page blueprint specifically for how to grow a consulting business. So if you're a consultant, you're looking to get in consulting and you want to be able to, just learn more of what's really working, some of the best practices today, you can get that 47-page blueprint by going to consultingsuccess.com/blueprint.
And I'll include that in a little blurb underneath here so people have access to that. So, Michael, we get to my favorite part of the show, and this is where I get to ask experts like yourself my favorite question. The questions up to now are probably have been my questions, but now you get to tell us in your own words the answer to this question. And that is, Michael, what's the one question I should have asked you, but I didn't?
One real kind of revelation or realization I had, which I think others can benefit from having as well. And if I can help people to see that sooner, I think it'll really help them. And it's to think bigger, right? It's how do you, and so if I was to ask this as a question to myself, Carl, it would be, what's one thing that really made a difference or that had a big impact on our business? And it was the day where, we learned to start thinking about things in a bigger way. And so oftentimes, what my observation is and experience is that it's just as hard to go from, call it $100,000 a year to $300,000 a year as it is to go from 300,000 to a million or 2 million or beyond. And so I think for many of us, I'm not talking only about money. It can also be about impact. It can be about any aspect of your life, but just challenge yourself a little bit to think bigger. Like, what would things look like if you actually went beyond or doubled or tripled what you're considering? And oftentimes people find that, it's not actually that much harder, but it puts them in a much better place.
Nice. Michael, it's been a real pleasure. I've been looking forward to this all week since you showed up on my calendar. You haven't disappointed. You've been a great guest. And for our audience, just if you would give us that website again.
Sure. It's consultingsuccess.com.
Consultingsuccess.com. This has been Michael, and I'm going to take a shot at the last name, Zipursky.
Perfect. You got it right, Carl.
And thanks for being with us today. And
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And the 800-Pound Gorilla Expert Podcast. We'll see you next week.